Let's go, guys. We are back with another Strictly Auburn episode 4. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Baseball, basketball, some spring training for football. My guy Connor King here. As always, Jake Lazarus and me, Eli Lingo. But let's go and jump to some baseball. Jake's going to hit us with some stuff that he saw over the past weekend because he was there, of course, for the baseball game.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll talk about some basketball and some football, all right? So let's go, Jake.
So Friday, Saturday, 2 huge wins.
Oh, yeah. Big wins.
Sunday, tied 12-12. I've never seen
really
that
weird
before.
tie. Never seen a tie either.
Yeah, I mean, USC had to travel from LA to Auburn because of some really crappy weather.
Right.
They had to be on a flight Sunday night, so game got called at 3:30. No innings were going to start later. Crazy ninth inning finish.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Ike Irish is an absolute animal.
Dude.
I mean, he on the weekend, 569 batting average with a double and a triple, 8 hits on the weekend.
Jeez.
That is insane.
And he's a freshman. Yo, he's a freshman.
True freshman from
True
Michigan.
freshman. And he was a dog. He was a dog in high school too.
Yeah,
he was an Under Armour All-American. He was an animal in high school, so he's showing it up.
And if you play baseball, you know how hard it is to hit 300. He's hitting 600 right now.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
He's going crazy for the second time in 2 weeks.
Right.
SEC freshman of the week.
He's a beast.
He makes it look so easy too.
Another guy I want to
So
shout
easy.
out is Cooper McMurray. I actually had a project with him last semester in history.
Let's go,
So he was a beast this weekend. Specifically in game 2, he had he went 3 for 4, had 3 RBIs and a home run. He's a slugger, man, and he's doing great on first base as well. I think he got a little action on the field as well this weekend, and he's doing great. It's so cool to see him, in the classroom and then see him do great things in the field as well.
Academic weapon.
One of our MVPs. Oh, absolutely.
Academic weapon
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
a beast. Yeah, we got an A on that project, by the way. So, yeah, he's awesome. Justin Kirby as well. He had a grand slam and a 3-run home run this weekend. I can't say anything else about Justin Kirby.
He has 5 hits on the year. All 5 are home runs.
That's unheard of.
This
I've never
Auburn
seen
team,
something like that.
this Auburn team, it feels like we were just getting our bats hot.
Yeah.
Extremely hot.
Yeah,
I don't remember seeing this from our team last year.
No, we're heating up earlier in the season. It's really fun. I mean, Kirby's fun to watch. Kirby, one thing I want to talk about, he is such a good teammate too, which I don't think a lot of people realize that, and just even Auburn fans. This dude is a grad student, right? So he's the oldest guy in there. For the entire game, start to finish, every time we're in the dugout, this man is standing on the front corner, talking to guys when they're on deck, talking in every freshman's ear, telling them, this is what I see in your swing, this is what I see in the pitcher, this is the approach that I like. He's just such a good teammate, just such a happy, human.
Yeah, he's not confrontational at all
No.
from what I've seen. He's a super nice guy and just lays it out there.
I think that's something that I've noticed going all these games.
That's what the transfer portal provides is really talented seniors that know the game really well and just provide that insight to young players, like Ike Irish, those freshmen that are having crazy, beginning of the season.
He gets the piss out of the ball.
Yeah, and he hits the piss out of the ball. Joseph Gonzalez, unfortunately, if y'all haven't heard, had an injury to his shoulder, so he woke up with some soreness, so he didn't play. And so that's an ongoing thing. It's a little concerning because, we're only a couple of games into the season, and we have a long season to go, and he's, our ace pitcher for the most part. So that's just something to note. Hopefully, I think, we can get some PT going.
We got a couple guys who are going to come out and get some more innings. I mean, we're going to have some bullpen work, that's for sure. We're going to go bullpen fishing early in the season. John Armstrong, dude, if you're at a game, go stand behind home plate. This man throws frisbees in the home plate.
Yeah.
It is wild. He throws a wicked slider that is fun to watch. And then Zach Crotchfeld, he threw again this weekend. Notched it all the way up to fastball to 95. He was killing it, and then he got left in for a third inning again. For the second time, got left in. A few batters too long. I would have liked to see him pulled after 2. Just pull him on a high note. Don't have to stretch.
Yeah, don't have to. Yeah.
But again, another solid performance from Zach.
I got a question for you, Jake.
Yeah.
So our bats are really hot right now. How do you think we prolong this extremely good hitting number further into the season? Because you've seen several teams, start really hot, like Tennessee, and just kind of kill it into, the World Series. How do we prolong this hitting number?
It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of work in the cage, a lot of work that we don't always see. So it's that off-the-field prep that is very helpful. Also, these analytics numbers are extremely helpful, so you favor your matchups, get into counts that you like. So that's key. And then some of it is luck. Like, you got to get hot at the right time. I mean,
No, for sure.
you guys are basketball people too, and it's always talked about, right?
It's
You got to get hot in
always-
March.
Peak at the right time.
You got to
peak right
peak at
around
the right
conference
time.
tournament.
So
That's how
hopefully this isn't the peak of our lineup. Hopefully
Yeah.
we peak later in,
Right.
in May and make a run.
Which I think we can.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I really
This
think this
team's
team
good.
is really
We
good.
did it last year. Why not this year? It seems like we're having a much better start from last year. So
I
Keep
love this
going.
team with the mentality, the why not us mentality.
yeah.
That's
I like
Why
it.
not us?
Oh yeah. You see how deep the SEC is, and no one's looking at the Auburn Tigers right now in baseball. You have Tennessee, Arkansas,
We're not even
Mississippi
ranked in the top
State,
25
Vanderbilt.
In 3 of the 8 polls, we're ranked inside the top 25. I think Perfect Game has us
Okay.
ranked all the way up at 13.
Which
Oh.
is surprising.
But baseball is very subjective, so
Yeah, for sure.
who knows? But I would love to see this basketball team take that same mentality for why not us?
Why not us and peak at the right time? Because
Yeah.
if we don't peak now,
We
then
peak
we're going to
right
be
now.
peaking
When are we ever
in
going to
NIT,
peak?
right?
Yeah, when are we ever going to
We need
peak?
to peak tomorrow night in Coleman Coliseum against that Alabama Crimson Tide. I just want to say real quick before we hone in on everything, I don't like the Alabama Crimson Tide at all.
Really, I don't think
whatsoever.
anybody in the entire country likes the Alabama Crimson Tide right now, so we're not the
Yeah.
only few. And
Yeah.
it's funny because we hate them every year. Now everybody's just ganging up on them, which is amazing.
Yes.
But yes, the Auburn Tigers take on the Alabama Crimson Tide tomorrow night in the lackluster Coliseum that doesn't have any fans. Hopefully, we bring some of those guys over there and show them how basketball is actually supposed to be played, and how
it'll
fans
be filled
actually attend
tomorrow
a game.
night with Auburn fans.
Yeah, with Auburn
probably,
fans,
yeah.
exactly. But just for this game, if y'all watch that Kentucky game, 30-point blowout, and Wendell Green, I think honestly this offense all runs through Wendell Green.
Right.
Honestly, if he's having a good game and he's playing at the best of his ability, then we're gonna be fine.
Well, Bruce has said it a number of times in press conferences, and he doesn't shy away from it. He says, "As when goes, we go."
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
no secret. If he's shooting the ball lights out from deep, this team is close to unbeatable, right? Because you got
100%.
bigs that are
Yeah.
towers in the paint. You have guys who can shoot from the outside, a really good defense. But if Wendell can't facilitate and turns the ball over and can't
We're not
shoot,
winning the game.
this
Yeah.
team can't win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think defensively we just gotta erase that Kentucky game because the defense was not there. Zeb Jasper had a really bad game defensively, and I don't know. So I think going into out at Tuscaloosa this tomorrow night, we gotta pick it up on defense, and Wendell's gotta have a good game. Simple as that.
And you want to know, history's not on our side either.
No, it's not.
9
I
and
hate this
52 all time in Tuscaloosa is this basketball program.
Yeah.
That's,
So
history doesn't have our names on it.
But it's okay.
Last year we did win 81-77 in
Swept them last
81-77.
So,
Yeah, so-
but it's okay if we don't win this game. We still have that one final game against Tennessee at home to hopefully get us in the tournament. Which, dude, if we don't make the tournament, I'm gonna be really disappointed in this basketball season. If you look back to our old episode way long ago, we were saying,
Possible
what sounds
4 seed, 3
insane
seed.
like numbers now.
Yeah.
If you just watch this team against, in Israel, which was only kind of the film that we had at that time we made the episode, guys like Chance Westry, Johan, who those two guys we have never seen on the court
No.
in a while.
Produce it all
We're
when they're on the court.
going
too.
insane. And we just didn't have that. And hopefully, if Johan doesn't figure it out, we got to find somebody else who does.
We're also used to seeing a Bruce Pearl team that can run 10, 12 guys deep.
You're right.
This team is not that.
Right.
This
Katie
team,
Johnson's having a freaking slump if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
this team. The starting five are. You have Wendell who always performs. You have Janai who seems to always show up. Jalen always shows up.
Allen.
Jalen's going to develop into our best player next
Alan
season.
Flanagan's, he's had a really good season so far.
He's played well, but once you dive into the bench, like
Just
you said,
drops off,
Katie
man.
Johnson,
Chris Moore.
nothing. Chris Moore, after coming back from injury, hasn't been himself.
Dylan
is.
Yeah.
He gets boards and plays defense, but he
But
fouls
he
4 times a
fouls
game.
so
He's
much.
good for 4,000 a night on
Yeah.
15 minutes. So
It's
Lior,
it's
my guy.
Lior has played really
Lior
well.
has played really
Shout
well.
out Lior. Lior's been that guy off the bench, but
100%.
this team has to play deep. This team has to play well, deep into
Well,
games,
I
and
will
this bench
say
has to
this.
show up.
We didn't have a bad first half against Kentucky. I
We
won't say
really
we had a
didn't.
perfect first half or anything, but we were scoring with Kentucky for about 15 minutes there. We were getting rebounds. I saw Jedi Broom open up the game with a 3. I was like, okay, we're winning
Well,
this
he-
game.
we were some against Ole Miss.
We were
Yeah.
scoring and keeping up with Oscar Shebue.
right.
Yeah, you're right. Oscar Shebue is like,
He's might be the basketball player of the year.
He is him.
He's probably
He
the
is,
player of
he
the
is
year
him.
this
He's
year.
that guy. He's probably the best player in the country.
Yeah.
He's insane.
He's
He should be in the NBA right now.
He really should.
He
Yeah.
should not be playing college
I
basketball.
wonder how much money they paid him to come back. But anyways,
What?
I'm just playing.
One
man.
thing before football, I want to say Equestrian beat the number one team in the country this year.
Question for them, man.
Yeah, it's
Clap it up for questions.
Auburn, everything scored.
Yeah,
honestly.
15-5 was the final score. I don't know anything about Equestrian, so don't ask me. But we're number
It's always
we're
good
number
to
three.
mention,
The rankings haven't came out yet. From what I know, we're probably going to be the top team in the country after this. We have been most of the time. We're like a top three
Equestrian,
top team in the country.
we're always really good. in
Yeah.
Equestrian.
So I say
Apparently.
national champions 2023 Equestrian.
There you
I
go.
see it happening.
Let's
Heard
go.
From Connor
Yeah.
King, he's an equestrian
He's an
guru on
equestrian
this
expert, yeah.
on this podcast. But let's talk about some football. So they had their first spring training practice yesterday, which is huge. I mean, we're in the Hugh Freeze era now, guys, and I am completely excited. I mean, I'm excited for this team. Everything that's to come with this Hugh Freeze era. So I think I wasn't there. I just figured out we could actually get media crunchers to go to those spring practices. So I'll probably be there the next couple of practices. But some things that I heard and saw, or not saw, but just kind of heard around was, the receivers look really well. Rivaldo Fairweather, another name that I would say is up in contender with Crotchfeld. Rivaldo Fairweather, the FIU transfer, had a really good day. I heard he ran routes really well for his size. And he had a really good catch for that was kind of a bad ball by Holden Gerner. That was really up in the air and overthrow, and he kind of just Michael Jordan it and jumped 40 inches and got that one.
Got that Megatron frame.
No, he really does, man. I mean, I'm really excited to see what he can do. But the O-line I heard looked really well too. Transfers like Britton Gunner, Avery Jones had a really good day. Dylan Wade, that's kind of going to be our starting O-line. Brandon Joyner, hometown recruit from Auburn, looked really good. And the quarterbacks looked good and they looked bad. So that's what Hugh Freeze literally said. They said they had some really good throws and then they had some
Terrible.
bad throws. So I mean, that's first day of spring practice jitters, hopefully. But we'll just see what this quarterback room holds. Another thing I did hear was Holden Gerner did not look good.
No,
That he looked behind. Is what I heard.
I think. I know I am. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely holding out that there's some transfer that's going to come in at the end of the
You
spring.
still are?
Yeah. No.
Oh, please, dear God.
I'm vouching for it. I hope.
Please,
I really
for the
hope.
love of God, it has to happen.
Dude, I'm still on Robbie Ashford, man. I'm telling you.
You said it yourself. Holden's that number 2 guy right now.
Yeah,
He's not giving Robbie a run for his money at all
No.
for the starting job.
Robbie's a starting.
Robbie was a
no matter
a
what.
very below average quarterback in 2022, and going into 23 with no quarterback competition
It's a little
that's
scary.
a recipe for disaster.
Right.
It is, but I think if
And
you,
a coaching change.
yeah, okay, let's not mention coaching changes because you just gave me PTSD.
Yeah, that made
but
my heart drop a little bit.
let's not mention that yet. The season hasn't even gotten close to starting. I think just if you look at this offensive room that we have, Hugh Freeze, who is really known for developing quarterbacks, Philip Montgomery, who developed and helped develop RG3, one of the best quarterbacks to come out of Baylor ever. And we have some really good receivers that I think we picked up out of the transfer portal. Another receiver I like to mention, Nico, the guy from Cincinnati, is freaking gigantic. Talk about a Megatron build, dude.
Yeah.
He is like 6'6", maybe 6'7". I don't know,
He's
but
a wide receiver.
he's he's huge. And watching some of the clips that I saw from him, he runs routes really crisp, had some good hands, didn't have any drops or anything like that. So I think with the guys that we have that are known for developing quarterbacks, I think can develop Robbie Ashford. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's hope.
please. To
touch on both though, we do want to transfer.
We do want to transfer.
There has to be
we
competition
do want
in
to
that room
transfer.
for
You're
football.
100% right. Yeah.
You're just hoping Robbie's the starter come.
I do.
Right.
I do.
So the Auburn on the football Instagram, Twitter, and probably Facebook, their LinkedIn, probably
Everything.
every social media, they put out this Hugh Freeze hype video. The quote that I took away from it, he goes, "We're getting ready to write our own story. Is anyone going to read it?" So the question
Dude, that's
for
a
you
that's
guys,
a freaking top 10.
are you
that's
guys
a-
planning on reading this book? Do you guys think it's going to be worth reading?
I'm ready to read
I've been
every
reading-
single chapter, the author's notes before and after.
I've been
The
reading this.
prologue and the epilogue.
I've been reading this book since I've been eight years old, so having
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze doesn't really change anything, but it does make it a little bit more exciting to read this book for sure, especially if we're winning the games. And I think Auburn, they're going to be contenders next year, and if we just get this team on track, defense looked pretty good by the way as well. I think had some really beef. We had some huge guys for the D line.
Pretty much return everyone that played a key role last year.
Pretty much, and then we got some really beneficial guys from the transfer portal for the linebackers like Austin Keys and some of those guys. So Wesley Steiner's going to have a great year, but DJ James had a really good day. JD Ron had a good day too as well. So
our DB room's going to be loaded next year.
It is.
The only guy who we're really missing is Derek Hall. Aguilera was hurt for the majority of last season, so we're not really losing him.
2000.
And Derek Hall, we noted at times, just didn't play that well last season.
Yeah.
I know,
still a
not
beast,
well,
though.
but again, he was hurt from last year.
It was a spotty LB room last year, so hopefully we can get some production from that this year. But I think that's all I have for football.
I have one question for you about football.
Oh yeah.
So, knowing Auburn, we have lots of traditions. We have boosters that criticize about everything any coach or player does, it seems like. And we also play we also play Georgia, Alabama, and LSU every year, along with a really tough SEC West schedule. Me personally, I think Auburn is probably the hardest head coaching job in the entire nation, the entire college football, and even harder than some pro football jobs too, just because of the everything that you need to have and need to know to be an Auburn head football coach. What is y'all's opinion on that? What do y'all think? Do you think it's a harder head coaching job? Do you think Auburn's the top tier, or what's?
I'll be quick with this one just because, obviously I'm a true Auburn diehard fan. But if we're being honest, I really think Auburn is, I wouldn't say the hardest coaching job. I would say at least top 3, top 2, one of the hardest coaching jobs in the whole nation. Solely on the basis of the fact of their schedule is always the hardest schedule in the entire country, every year. And we have to play guys like Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, two of the best head coaching, we've ever seen in a while. And those two teams are really good. And like you said, the amount of talent in the SEC, which I think the SEC is the best conference in the entire nation. The amount of talent that Auburn plays week in, week out is extremely hard. And like you said, Auburn's tradition is winning, and we have a really, really, really high standard for this football team. I mean, it's really hard to win here.
Yeah, expectations
are extremely high.
So,
the expectations is to win, an SEC championship every year. That's just what they are.
Yeah.
It's which they should be. So that's why I think Auburn is one of the hardest coaching jobs in the
I have it inside of my top 10 hardest jobs.
top 10, not even top 5.
Maybe. I think Alabama, when Nick Saban retires, whoever inherits that program is in for a treat. Because, again, their expectations are in another stratosphere after their run of 30 years.
Yeah, it's going to be
So
insane.
that's going to be, in my opinion, the toughest job in the country. They also have the boosters that we have and the money power.
Mhm.
So that's going to be tough. I mentioned earlier USC, the USC out in California.
Mm-hmm.
That's a historic program, right?
Yes, it is.
They've tried for 20 years to get back to the college football championship. They haven't since Reggie Bush.
20 years.
Right.
It's been 20 years, and we've seen a cycle of coaches go in and out who haven't been able to do it. And there's a reason. They're all successful out at USC, but their standard is national championship or bust. And Lincoln Riley and what's his Caleb Williams, who I think is one of the best college football quarterbacks since Andrew Luck. They might do it next year.
Oh, I think they'll be in the playoff next
So I
year,
think
no
that's
doubt.
really tough. I also think Notre Dame's a really hard job, right? You're historically one of the greatest programs. You're not a part of a conference. You're playing for television rights, so you function almost like a professional program. You bring in talent. People want to come to you. You don't always have to go and find everyone. So it's this really prestigious place. I love Ryan Day, and I love the job he's done there. So Auburn belongs up with those programs. I'm not sure it is the hardest. I don't know if I could pick one.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I could pick one, but I think
LSU's another tough one.
Oh, yeah.
there's some really hard picks out there, and I think all those teams that you mentioned are extremely hard to coach at. Any college football job is hard to coach. I mean,
Absolutely.
college football is extremely complicated, sophisticated sport, and it's really hard.
Packed with that too now.
Yeah, so I mean now it's really hard to judge that, but I mean you made some really good points. All those teams are really hard to coach, but the SEC is just better.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing in college, you're also the face of your university. You're more than just a football coach.
Way
you're
more,
more
exactly.
worried about your image and how you represent yourself in your university. So at
Especially
Auburn,
in the SEC.
there's an Auburn way, right? There's this aura around Auburn that, I mean, I assume if you're watching this, you're an Auburn fan, but I don't know that I could explain it to
It's
anyone
pretty,
that's not here.
No, you're exactly right.
It's just an aura and this image that you have to keep, and I don't know that there's a lot of guys who can keep it. So
Hopefully Hugh Freeze is one of them.
Reinhardt's good, and Hugh Freeze has to be one of them.
I think he can, man. I think he can.
Hugh Freeze, I think he's already adapted to the standard of Auburn, the expectation of Auburn, and I think he'll be here for a while.
For
That's
sure.
what I'm hoping for. At least.
Sounds like you guys are ready to read his book.
Let's go.
Well, dang,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Getting cold.
Let's
It's about
get
to
it.
freeze.
But that wraps it up for this episode 4 of Strictly Auburn's podcast. Look out for, are we going to do an episode next week? Spring break?
TBD.
To be determined. We'll see. I know these guys are going on some trips. You're going to Europe.
I'm gonna be in Europe. Yeah.
That's going to be dope. He's going to go back home. I'll be in PCB, so we're going to have a good time
Yeah.
there. But we will let you know. Just stay tuned. Be on the lookout for another episode. Appreciate y'all stopping by and talking some Auburn stuff for us. Thank you.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.